Hello, Craftin' buddies. It's Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Crafting. Late night Lori. Coming to you on Thursday, November 6th. It just flipped to November 7th. So I'm right at midnight. Let me get my devices up here. Maybe. So I can see if anybody's joining me live. I had it up here and then my screen went quiet. But we'll figure it out. Give me just a minute. And this one, it shows that I'm live. The other day when I was doing this, it said it was coming up, so I don't know. And it looks like my picture's elongated. So welcome, everybody. Let me get my act together. Maybe. Maybe. Here we're going. Hello, Sala. All right. How are you, Sala? Tired. Still tired, I see by your comment. So the two little ones are off to school and now you can catch up on some sleep, I take it? Well, I am not prepared with anything in particular because the kit that I was working on last night, I don't want to do any more of those alternate cards. And I didn't have anything else really planned. We were out pretty much all evening with friends of ours. We try to get together once a month. And after we got home, we were actually on the phone with them planning some time away for next year. So Amanda's just leaving. All right, well, goodbye, Amanda. Have a good day in school. So, couple of quick announcements for those that join me that are actually in my market. Sorry, Sala, that some of these are not, but I bet you could order these if you wanted the ideas. Who knows? But Stampin' Up has these virtual craft classes. I believe it's $30. It was $30 last month. And you will receive the PDF instructions for the class. The virtual class will be 2.5 hours is my understanding, with a concept artist and a product designer from Stampin' Up leading the class. You'll get cutting instructions pretty much. Oh, well, that's nice. You'll get cutting instructions and written instructions as to how to put the projects together. So kind of like this. This one is 9 pages, I think, from last month. Yeah, 9 pages from last month. And you get access to that virtual class. So this one, I haven't printed off any of the instructions yet if they're there. I haven't taken a look. I've just been swamped, it seems. I don't understand what the deal is. But we're a week into November already. I can hardly stand it. And I've got a craft fair on Saturday. So I have to manage my time really well tomorrow. So here's the new class for November. Brushed with Beauty Suite collection is the new suite of products that we're going to use. The craft class itself is this product number 170074. And you can get that through shopping at my store. And this one from last month is still available. And I don't know how long they're going to leave those available because they're recorded. So I think as long as they have the product, they could probably offer the class. I'm not sure. Next week, November 12th, they're doing a Craft and Create. This will be like an hour. Just time to create virtually with other people. So there's not a specific product. I think they're just going to show maybe some new things, some new products that have come out. and maybe share some tips and techniques or tricks. And I grabbed this scrapbooking workshop. So I don't do a whole lot of scrapbooking, and I've mentioned that before. But these scrapbooking kits are pretty, I think, pretty awesome. And I'll show you quick what goes, what you get in your kit and how we do the cutting. So I'm just going to go through this scrapbooking workshop kit is $36, and I'll show you all of the bits that are in here. And then this photopolymer stamp set is a $20 stamp set. That's the United States, of course. And there is also a sticker sheet that goes with the designer series paper. And I moved mine. So quite honestly, I don't know where it is. I moved some things for my ghouls night out, and I've been moving things ever since. So who knows where it is. It's in my studio space here somewhere. So we're just going to move on without it. But these are photopolymer stamps. And I love the font for this Christmas, and it's pretty big. And that wouldn't be too hard to fussy cut out either. And I don't believe there are dies that go with this. So I think, oh, I take that back. No. No, it doesn't look like there's dies to go with that. But I love the little postage stamp on here too. Very fun. So, and this would make some fun cards. So tomorrow, I'll either work on this some more or do some cards maybe with this. I have a full day tomorrow too. And we're meeting with, we're going out to dinner with another couple of our friends. So we're just like socialites this week. I don't know. So anyway, let me just show you. These instructions are awesome. But let me show you the things that are in the kit. And then we'll go through all of the cutting instructions. So we have 2 sheets of this designer series paper. So there's poinsettias. Hello, Tanya. And this green stripe, and that stripes with polka dots. We've got these Secret Sea, and it's like a polka dot sort of thing. I don't want to zoom in because you might, it might miss some of the design. And then this is like a green plaid. This is poinsettias. Now I did use this. There's a pack of designer series paper that coordinates with this too. And I know I made cards out of it a while back because Juju made me fussy cuss these. So I actually sent her a card that had those flowers fussy cut out of it. And this is polka dots. Hopefully you can see that. Let me turn on my other light too. This looks like it's going to be a framed piece. Now some of these look like they would be fun to kind of color in too, to kind of accentuate some of your pictures. And this is plain on the back. So these are obviously going to be a 2-page spread. Oh, I like how the lines make a chevron when you put them together. That is very nice. And then we have another set of pages that to me seems like that will be another background piece for a 2-page spread, and it'll give you lots of journaling space maybe. We'll see. Oh yeah, that's, if we look here, it shows us those. That's the journaling pages. Oh, and just like I suggested, some of this is going to be colored in. All right, so cool. And then here are some ephemera pieces. So these are all strips that are laser cut. Some journaling pieces. Excuse me. Another journaling piece, some tabs, some arrows. All right, so you get that. And it tells you, I think I will zoom in at this point. So maybe you can see where it shows project 2, P2, which means it's project 2, project 3, project 1. So each of these elements, they tell you what layout it goes with. The polka dots are kind of hypnotic, aren't they? I love them. And then these are ephemera pieces as well. And again, on the back, it gives you the numbers for what those spreads go with. So the 2-page spread number 1, number 2, and number 3. And then this here is the legend for what photos you need. So it tells you if you need portrait or landscape photos. So here we've got the portrait column for 3x4s, 3x3s, 4x6 in landscape, and 4x6 in portrait. And for project 1, the layout is for 3 that are 3x3 and 2 that are 4x6. So here's the 2 4x6, 1, 2, 3. There's the 3 3x3s. And each project tells you all of that. All right, and then we've got some two-tone cardstock. So this is the Cherry Cobbler. That looks like Pool Party. Old Olive. Looks like Secret Sea. We have 2 of them. That one might be a little harder to discern the two-tone cardstock page. And some, I think they call this Winter White. It's two-tone, but I don't know that there's a difference when you're looking at white. And then here are stickers. This is a whole sheet of stickers. And I know that I have another sheet of these stickers somewhere because I bought the DSP before I got the scrapbooking kit. All right, and then you also get the photo, the photo placeholders. The placeholders? So for this one, let's say we need 3 of the 4x6, so I've got 3 of the 4x6. And then 3x4, there should be 4 of them. So you get all of the placeholders, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you can put those, if you don't have your pictures yet, you can put the placeholders on the page. The red, up close and personal, you can tell a little bit different. And there should be 8 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And that's for the placeholders that are 3x3. So I'm going to set these off to the side. So let me go back to that red, which is the Cherry Cobbler. This is, the darker side is supposed to be the true color. And then the other side is supposed to be like the lighter shade. So I think shades are lighter and tints are darker, or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe tints are lighter and shades are darker. So you should be able to see there the difference. So the two-tone cardstock, it's just like there's a one-off on the color, kind of like if you were stamping off with ink. Hello, Vicky. So anyway, there's that. So let me kind of slide these back together without losing those cutout pieces. And then we have just the backing piece. So I'm going to hang on to this because I will turn this into a little carrier for my 6x6 papers. So I will hang on to this when I'm done. But for now, I think I'll just put it under here just to keep my edges, my corners clean. So with these scrapbooking kits, you always want to do your cutting first because Stampin' Up, when they design these, they do the cuts to most efficiently use the paper. If there is a star for one of the elements, it indicates that you're using the back of the paper. All right. You also want to watch orientation because these little samples here will show you which way the paper is going. All right. Now, none of these 4 say that we're using the back of the paper. All right. This one says we're using the front. And this one says we're using the front, but they flipped these legend pieces. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this piece. And my first cut is going to go where the scissor icon is. All right. So I'm going to do 4.5 by 12. So I'm going to do 4.5. Oops. And this is going to be piece 3F. So I'm going to write that on the back. And I needed to watch the orientation. So that's the other thing. I had mine going sideways. This one actually says to have it go this way. Luckily, we're not using the backs of this one, so it's not going to matter. Okay. Yeah, the scraps will be amazing for this. All right, so let's go back to this. So this is going to be 3F, and I need to find my pencil because it's not here. I'll be right back. All right, so this is going to be 3F. So just put it somewhere where you can see it. You can erase it later if you need to. And then I'm going to make a pile for all of my pieces that are labeled for spread 3, for spread 2, and spread 1. All right, so this is for spread 3. And then I'm going to go 4 inches by 9.5. So let's do 4. And this is not used. This is going to be a scrap. All right. And then we're going to go 9. I need to maybe try to move over a little bit. Maybe I'll move my camera this way just a little bit. Hopefully I'm not making you dizzy. And 9.5. Okay. This is a scrap. All right. So the white parts are the parts we're not going to want. We're not going to use them for this project unless we modify as we go. And this is 3A. So on the back, I'm going to write this one. I should have written on the back. So let's erase that. All right, so this is 3F. You want to put these notes on the back. And this is 3A. Because the instructions are going to tell us use piece 3A for wherever. Okay. So then on this other piece, I'm going to make sure I've got my orientation right this time. I want the stripes to go up and down. And this one I'm going to cut at 5 by 10. So let's do 5. Yeah, it probably won't. It's just if you want to do it exactly how the design is. And in fact, you really don't even need that whole piece because we could end up just cutting little pieces and having a whole lot more for a card or an alternate project. Well, Sala, sometimes you just have to keep me in check and tell me you're writing it on the wrong side. I said to write it on the back and then I wrote it on the front anyway. So this is my piece that's 5 inches. And hey, Juju. And that's going to go by 10. Hi, Bonnie. And this is extra because that's the white piece here. All right, that's the white piece here, so that's extra. And this is going to be 1L, it looks like. Or it could be 1I. Maybe it's 1I. So we'll just go 1I. And let me get my cart. That way I won't be putting stuff on the floor and I won't have to bend over to pick them up. All right. And then this piece, we're going to cut it 4 inches. One eye. And then this is, again, a piece that we can have for an alternate project. And this is going to go 8 inches. and this will be extra. Okay, so this one, hi Yuda. This one will be 3H.
Hi Yuda.
Good night, Mac Man.
Good night, ladies.
He just can't help himself. All right, so that's 3H. All right, so that will go in my pile for 3. Now we'll go to the next page. Juju, I don't think he realized you were here. I'll yell out the door. He's already upstairs. That was fast. All right. So now we are looking at the... Now he's back. Juju said goodnight, Macman.
Good night.
I thought he was upstairs already. All right, so... Oh, he does love us all. That's how Italian men are. They like all the women, right? Oh. Sorry, Sal. I don't think he intended to scare you to death. Oh. Oh, Vicky, so you emailed demonstrator support for assistance. I'm sorry. I was gone all night long, so I hadn't looked at it. I did think about it, though, before I went live. So we'll figure it out. Between them and you and I working together, we'll figure it out. All right, so we are now working on this piece. The back would be noted by a star again, and I'm not seeing any stars on these pieces. And I'm just looking at the design, and the back side is the plaid. Interesting. So it looks like we'll cut one and keep the other for a background. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Oh, this is a dark, plain old one. Oh, who was crashing a party tonight? So probably Juju, Bonnie, and Yuda all crashed somebody else's party. This is the after party. Awesome. All right, so let's go back to this. We're going to do this cut at 7.5 inches. So 7.5. This then is extra that's here. That'll be for another project. And then we're going to cut this at 5 because this is 7.5 by 5. And this is going to be piece 3B. And then we've got 4.5. I need this back by like this. So that's just 7. So this is my 7.5. All right, so that goes like this. So I need 4.5. Yep, that's right. So I've got 4.5. All right, who's breaking up the party and kicking you gals out? Yes, we can all be party crashers. All right, so 4.5. This is going to go to 6.5. So Vicky, did demonstrator support get you set up, or you emailed them and you're still waiting for a response? Well, Sala, I think you probably called it right. They didn't deny it, right? All right. So this is an extra piece as well. I was just going to put it in my recycle bin, but I might need it for something. All right. So this is 2G. So this will go in my pile for number 2. All right, and then this piece is going to be 3 inches, so that's kind of what's left over from this 7.5 inch strip, and I'm going to cut this down to 6. And this is extra. And this is 3G. All right, 3 is over here. All right, and then we are going to get this other floral piece, and we're going to cut a piece that's 9 by 9. Hopefully you can see that. So 9.5 by 9. I'm glad I looked at that again. So let's go 9.5. This is extra. That's this piece here. So we can save that for something else. And then we're going to go by 9. And then this is extra as well. All right, you emailed them around 4. You know, a lot of people say they like to call. I like to email because I would rather have my answer in writing so that I can refer back to it and not rely on my memory. All right, so this is 1H. And again, I'm writing it on the back side because this is the front. And this does not have an asterisk, so I know that's coming off of the front. All right, so that's for project 1. I will put that in the pile for group 1. And then we're going to take the second piece of that paper, and we're going to make our first cut at 3. And it's going to be 3 by 11. And this one has an asterisk, so we're actually going to be cutting the back side. So I'm just, yeah, it doesn't really matter. So 3, I was going to flip it over so that my cut was going down, but I don't really think it's going to matter that much. So we've got 3 inches by 11. So all I have to do is cut off an inch. So I'm just going to use the inch over here on the right side of my track. Because I know this is 12 inches, I just need to cut off an inch. You were hiding good, huh, Bonnie? So that's extra. And then this is the side we're using for this piece because it's got the asterisk there. So on this side, I'm going to write 2A, and I'm going to put that in my pile of items that are for project 2. Now, why am I not seeing? Oh, that's 1. There we go. I couldn't see what I had written on there. All right, and then we're going to take another piece. Now remember, I did my first cut here where that little scissor icon is. All right. Bonnie's the smooth criminal, huh? All right. So then we're going to go 3 1/4 inches. And this is extra. And we're going to go 3 1/4 twice. So 3 1/4 and 3 1/4. And then this is this piece here. And this will be extra then. So both of these, I'm using the front piece. So this is going to be 1D and 1G. All right. Now the last time I was doing the scrapbooking kit, I started check marking the pieces that I had cut so that I wouldn't lose my place. So I should probably do that here too. So I get in the habit. I don't do these often enough to keep myself on the straight and narrow. That's funny. All right. So now we're going to go with the Pool Party cardstock, the two-tone cardstock. And it wants me to put the dark side up. All right. So, yeah, if any of you are like me, I don't need any help getting into trouble. I don't know that mine is from being clueless, but mine is more from being mischievous, maybe. All right, so this one, we are going to follow this. We don't want the dark side up, and the first cut is going to be at 6 inches. Now, normally when I put my little trimmer arm down, I've got this, there's a stop here, and I like to have it there because that stop is right at 6 inches. So I can always put that arm back out. All right, I'm gonna hang on to this for my next cuts, but this needs to go to 10.5. So I could just take 1.5 inches off, or because it's late and I don't trust my brain, I'm gonna take this to 10.5 just so I don't mess it up. All right. And this piece should be, this will be marked 2B. So that's this one. And then this little piece here should be 1.5 inches, which it is. And then I'm going to do 4 1/4. And this piece is extra. So that's this little white square there. And then this one I'm going to mark as 3E. All right. And then this other part of the page is going to be 6 by 11. So we've got the 6 already. And we need it 6 by 11, so I'm just going to take 1 inch off. I think that's pretty safe. And then this strip here is this white strip here that shows we don't need that. And I'm going to label this as 2E and put that in the pile for the 2s. And let's flip to the next page. So the Secret C cardstock. We're going to take one of those and we're going to cut it at 8.5 by 11. So 8.5. And you guessed it, this piece is extra because that's this. And then we're going to go by 11, so I'm just going to cut off 1 inch. And this 2 is extra right there. And this is 1A. It wanted the dark side up, so I'm writing on the light side, 1A. So we're done with this. And then look at this, we got a whole piece of cherry cobbler for one 1-inch strip. So let's pull that out. And we're going to cut a 1-inch strip. Now it shows it with the dark color, and with this two-tone cardstock, I like the light side better. The dark side just has, I don't know, it doesn't look like a true color to me, and these two-tone cardstocks are relatively new, so I like the lighter side better, just a personal preference. So this this is all extra, all right, so I'm going to set that aside. We don't need that because on our instructions that is not needed, and I'm going to take 1 inch off of here because we need it at 11 inches. And I'm just using the 1-inch mark that's on the right side of my track. This is extra, but I'm not going to save it. The 12 by 12 two-tone cardstock is two-toned like that. So it's printed. The color is printed on it, and it's a white core. All right. Any of the other, we do we have any 12 by 12s that's not two-tone? I'd have to look. I'd have to look to see. It's just the 12 by 12s that are two-toned cardstock. And we may have some 12 by 12s that are regular. But I think all the 12 by 12s are now two-tone. I don't know. I have to look because I don't buy that much two-tone. Let me back up. I don't buy that much 12 by 12. I don't go through it that often because I'm usually making card bases, and the 8.5 by 11s work better for that. All right, so this piece is 2F. So I will put that in the stack for number 2s. And then we're going to go to this old olive piece. And we're going to do a piece that's 8 by 11 with the dark side up. So again, you can see this is the light and the dark. And the dark is listed first, so that's the side that they want me to cut it on. I may end up flipping it later, we'll see. So we're going to go 8. This is extra. And this is going to be 11, so I'm just going to take off an inch again. You guessed it, that's extra. And this is 1B. Now I'm going to write a little lighter on there because I may erase that because I might want to use the lighter side. I don't know. We'll see. And then we've got the white willow. I don't remember what I called it. I don't remember if I called it white willow or not. But we have a couple of sheets of white willow, so we'll see what comes next. So this one I'm going to do my first cut at 3 1/4. The next cut's also going to be at 3 1/4. The next one will end up being 3 1/2, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to start with the first one that's 3 1/4. And I move my cutting blade down because I always like to cut from the bottom of my trimmer and push up because there's a stop here. So I feel like I'm less likely to shift my paper. So we're going 3 1/4. And I'm going to do the next one that's 3 1/4 right now. Sala, get some rest. Thank you, Sala, for the thumbs up reminder. I appreciate it. You get some rest. Get your knitting worked on if you're still working on some knitting. But do what gives you some peace and contentment. All right, so 3 1/4. This one I'm going to hang on to for a minute because that cuts at 3 1/2, so I don't want to mess things up. These are both 3 1/4, so that's pretty safe. The first one I'm cutting at 4 1/4, and that is 3C. So this is where it's going to be important for me to check off the ones that I'm done with. And then we've got 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So it looks like we're maybe doing like mats for pictures. So there's 4 1/4. So this is 3D. So I'll cross that off. And then I need a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So this is just going to have a little bit left over. And that's not used. So this will be 3L. And I'm crossing that off. So those will go in my stack of 3s. And then this piece, I've got 3 pieces on here. They're all 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. All 3 of those. So 3 1/4. And don't ask me why I take it out of here just to slide it back under here. I think it's probably my left-handedness. I don't know, but I've always done it that way. And this piece is the same as here, and that's extra. So this is 1C, 1E, and 1F. So I will put that in my stack for project 1. And then we've got the last piece here. I need to cut it at 3.5 instead of 3.25. So 3.5. This is now this extra piece. And we're going to go to 3.5. And that is 3I. And then we've got another, this one, it wants me to cut it to 3.25 by 3.25. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the 3.25 here. And then I'm gonna cut this, I'm gonna turn it and cut this side from 3.5 down to 3.25. I didn't cut it all the way down here to 3.25 because then that would waste a 1/4 inch where I might be able to use this as a bigger extra piece. All right, and then this is 2H. All right, hopefully I've been keeping everything sorted to project 1, 2, and 3. All right, one last page, white willow again. And we're going to do that first cut at 4 or 3.25. So I need to go with the first number. So 3.25. And we're going to go 4.25, 4.25, 3.25. So 4.25. Whoops. 4.25. And then 3 1/4. So it's 3.5. And this little 1/4 inch is extra. So this is 3J, 2D, and 2C. All right, so I did that, that, and that. So then this last piece, I'm going to go 6 1/4, which this one always just kind of challenges me because the notches go in the brown part. So there's my 6 1/4. This is extra. I'm going to go 4 1/4. 4 1/4. And these are going to be 1J and 1K. And then this last piece is going to be 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So again, this is 3.5. So I'm going to cut my 3 1/4 this way to maximize this scrap that's there. And then I'm going to turn this back and do 3 1/4 to just get rid of that extra 1/4 inch there. All right, and this is piece number 3K. So those are done. So our cutting now is all done. All right, and now we're going on to project layouts. So if you've not been here before, I've done a couple of these scrapbooking kits. I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way, I guess. But when we look at these instructions, this is project number 1 on the left page. So I need this piece right here. All right. And it's telling me to adhere my photos to 1C, 1E, 1F, 1J, and 1K. All right. So it wants me to put my photos on these pieces. So this one, that we created the mats rather than using the placeholders, all right? Because these are the placeholders that I talked about. So that would be if you don't have your photos, you'll put this on there, all right? So let's go ahead and do that. And what I'm gonna do is just use a little Stampin' Seal, and I'm just gonna put a little dollop on here. And we'll put a placeholder on each one of these because I do not have any pictures picked out yet. Those are pretty thick placeholders. All right, so there's 1, 2, 3. And then these other ones will be 1J and 1K. Those are going to be the bigger placeholders. And those will go here. Now, hopefully you can tell from your view, like this one, you can see the shadow. So the placeholder is just 1/4 of an inch smaller, so it gives us that little 1/8 inch all the way around to create a mat, assuming that your photos are not going to be white. All right, so there's all of those. So I have followed those instructions. Adhere photos to 1C, E, F, J, and K. So that's all done. And then it says trim the old olive dotted sticker. I guess we do need the trimmer back. So here's the sticker, and it's telling me to trim it to 11.5 inches. So right now it's 12. And I'm gonna cut this off of here because it's at the bottom. And the sticker, you can see where there's still going to be a border there for the sticker, so I'm going to cut kind of on the edge of the border, not the sticker. And we'll cut that at 11.5. Yep, cut it to 11.5. And I'm trying to see on here where that shows, but I don't see it. Trim the old olive dotted sticker to 11.5. So let's just take off 1/2 inch here. We'll trust the process. All right, so there's that. And then assemble, we're going to use the old olive grid paper for our base page. Adhere 1A to the base page, then adhere 1B. So 1A is this piece. So I can tell you right now, I will probably trim this down because this is 1B and that's going to go here. So all that paper in the middle there is going to be covered. So rather than do it on the whole layer like that, I'm going to cut off strips and we're going to put it on that way. Because then I'll have a whole bunch of paper. I'm just going to be generous and I'm going to put these at 1 inch. And that way I'm going to conserve my paper because this is two-tone cardstock, so why not, right? Because it's lighter on the other side. So I'm going to set that off to the side. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some seal along this edge and this edge. Because we know I can't follow the instructions, right? So why try? And I'm going to go ahead and lay this on here. and make my little border without using up that whole piece, right? And luckily this didn't stick on my paper that was underneath there. Whoops. All right, so let's just try to line that up about the same. So tomorrow's Friday. Who's got anything special going on for the weekend? I've got that craft fair on Saturday, and then I have a class in the studio on Sunday. All right. So adhere prepared 1 C, D, and E. And a pre-cut journaling piece, which is on this other December documented. Let's see what that says. Here we go. That's on this one. So December documented. So that'll go there. Craft vegging for the weekend. That sounds like a really good plan. I am going to do that in 2 weekends. So I will be at a Craftin retreat a friend of mine is having. She normally just has some of her family there, but she invited me to come with, and I'm really looking forward to going. So Jill, if you're watching, I am getting ready to go. And I know one of the projects that I'll bring to work on. So, all right, so that goes there. And then it says, so it wants me to attach those. And then we want to the journal of being please prepared 1 E, F, G, and I. What? Those might be, that's J and K. Maybe that's C, D, and F. That must be this. F and G. Maybe? I don't know. F and G. Oh, that's F. And then I need, oh, here we go. I get it now. There's G. And this says D. Let's go in there. I might have mislabeled something, or the instructions might have been mislabeled. So according to the picture, that's going to go there. And now I need a couple more elements. This is a sticker, and Christmas Joy is an ephemera piece. So that's going to go here. And then there's some banner pieces, it looks like. Let's see where those are. Those are on this page. Oh, yeah. Project 1. I forgot. Project 1. Project 1. Let's just go ahead and punch out these ones that say Project 1 or P1, because that'll make my life a little easier instead of trying to guess what I'm supposed to do, right? See, I struggle with following instructions sometimes. right, the rest of those are for project 2 and 3. So let me pull this out and see if any of these say project 1. This one says project 1, and that's it. All right. So now let's see. Get this out of the way. I should have probably punched all those out and just put them where the projects needed to go. All right. So this will probably go on the second page. Yep, that'll go on the second page. All right, so let's lay these out a little bit better so you get a full idea of what it really will look like. And I don't want to attach these just yet, just in case I decide to go rogue, which could happen. All right, so we need a sticker piece. And I'm just going to trim that out of here. And I'm just going to loosely fussy cut just because it'll give you a better idea what it's supposed to look like. So it would appear that not as many people care for the scrapbooking stuff, or I didn't put a description on my video because I was in a hurry to come live, so people don't know what I'm doing tonight, because there aren't very many people here tonight. All right, so this will go here. This little "Oh What Fun" sticker is going to go on here. I hope the only thing I have tomorrow is getting ready for the craft fair on Saturday. I think that's all there is, but I'm going to have to look at my calendar. I will do that later. So "Oh What Fun" is going to go there. And we need another one of these flowers. So there's another one of those on this sticker sheet. And I don't want to go right up to where the sticker comes off of the paper. That's why I'm just kind of loosely fussy cutting, because I want to be able to peel it off the sticker and have it look finished, not haphazardly cut. So this one will go here, and it looks like one of these little flowers is going to go over here. One of these will go here. And one of these will go here. Now, why it has the 5, 12, 19 numbers on there, I'm thinking I'm not going to put those on there yet because these are numbered randomly. So here's one. I don't even see 2 on there. So maybe they're taken, you know, a certain day of the month or something. So I'm going to wait to do those numbers until I can figure out how it is that I want to use them. All right. And then these few little banners. Looks like we've got the bright red, the old olive, and the cherry cobbler, I guess. Now this banner, it looks like they have turned that way. That can't be. That looks funny to me. All right, so that's basically like this. And then let's move this up just a little bit. And then I need the Making Merry, which is also a sticker. And that's gonna go here-ish. And there's our page. These will go on the next piece. That'll go on the next piece. So here's the layout as it's designed. All right. So this will be a photo, photo, and some journaling. All right. So that was pretty quick and easy. And I actually like it where there's a few pictures on the page. I sometimes struggle when they only give me like one picture, suggested that only one picture go on a page, because if I'm going to keep memories, I want more pictures than that. So there's the first one. I'm going to move that off to the side, so hopefully I don't mess it up too badly. And let's go over to the next side. So this is going to use a Secret C as our base. And we are going to use 1H is going to go there. 1I is going to go here. And then we're using this picture, a flag, this, let me cut this down a little bit so it looks more how it's supposed to. And these are designs, layouts that I certainly would not have come up with on my own, because I am not an avid scrapbooker. I can follow a design and I can, you know, replicate things, but coming up with the idea all on my own is not so much my forte. I am hoping to get better at it though. So I figure the more I do it, the better I'll get at it, and maybe then I'll, you know, maybe I'll venture into a little junk journaling-ish. We'll see. All right, let's see what else I need. I need this little stripy piece that's on the cherry cobbler. So this piece is going to go here-ish. That's going to go there. There is another, oh, here it is. And it looks like it's a sticker, so we're gonna cut this out too. I could probably try to find a punch that would work with that, but it would probably take me longer to find the punch than to just cut this out. And again, if I was, you know, if I had my pictures ready to go and knew I was just going to follow the instructions, I would be sticking this stuff on like nobody's business. But I will probably move things around a little bit. So this one is going to go here. This little one is going to go here. Is that right? No, these should be down further, I guess. If I'm following the instructions, they're going to be down a little further. So that'll be there. That'll be a pretty circle. That'll go there. And this one will come up here. This one I need to cut out. I think that's this one here, it looks like. Now with the Designer Series paper pack that also can be purchased with a sticker pack, I can probably recreate this whole layout. So I could have a layout set for my granddaughter, and I could have another layout set for the bonus grandson, and have each of them have individual pictures on it. Although some of this might be a little too girly for him, you know, for memory keeping that. But once you have the instructions on, you know, what size layouts you're cutting, you know, from those cutting pages, you can hang on to those and you can make them with whatever papers trip your triggers, right? Because the layouts are pretty universal. Use them with what you want. All right, and then I'm just cutting out this last little sentiment here. That's going to go here. And I think that's pretty much everything. Now their page looks like their striped piece was a little bit longer, and I like how that looks a little bit longer. So what I can easily do without having to worry about, oh, I don't have another piece of that paper, I can just cut it, and lift those up and down and have a bigger display of that design. All right, so there's the second page of spread number 1, and I think we have the flower, the tab, the flower, flower. I haven't put the number on yet, of course. They've got a 7 on here. I don't know what I want it to be. And then we've got the flower, the sentiment, the stripe. So we have everything on there. So let's put these, oh, where was this supposed to be? Oh, this is supposed to be here. I totally missed that that was on the instructions. So I'll cut the nubs off of those little tabs because they're from the laser cut sheets. And I might actually have, I don't know where I'll have that down. I may trim these borders down a little tighter. That's a really wide white border for my liking. But let's pull these side by side. And that second page went together really fast. But you've got the secret C in here as the border, which is what carries it over to the second page in the spread. And let's just take a look. So here's the instructions, and here's what we ended up with. So I think the instructions were pretty straightforward, and even I could do it as a avid scrapbooker. All right. So, phew. So there's the first 2-page spread done. Let's take a look at the second one. And I think what I want to do is I'm going to take these ephemera pieces because some of them are falling out. So let's just divvy them up into project 2 and 3. 2. So then I don't have to worry about losing a piece, because these all say on the backs of them if it's for project 1, 2, or 3. And this might speed up the process too, instead of having to go back and forth to all of the ephemera pieces. So do you put photos much in your, you wouldn't put photos in your junk journals, would you? Is that more for just journaling cards, or do you put like photos in your pockets and whatnot? So you do put photos, okay. Because I've seen you, you know, dress up different like magazine pages and sheet music and that sort of thing, but I don't think I've caught anywhere you're using photographs. So this whole sheet is done. And then we still have this little ephemera sheet. Oh, so you do pictures of people you know and that you don't know. And made up people. Okay. I have a couple of photographs in my living room that are framed that I have no idea who the people are. I don't know if they're relatives or not. I have no idea because they're not labeled, but I think they're cool pictures and they have cool frames, and I just kind of like the vintage vibe that they give. Is that 2 or 3? That's 2. So I kind of get it. I suppose some of these I should probably turn over so I can see what it actually means. All right, project 2. So these little strips are all for this second spread. All right, so Vicky used nature pictures and used Canva. All right, and then you just print off the Canva stuff to put in your journals. Okay. I did subscribe to your page, so I'll pop in from time to time, depending on when you're on and where I am. Do you have a set time that you go on, Vicky? Or just random times? All right, so this is all for 3. And this is all for 2. And then I still have the rest of these sticker pieces. So let's just do a little work with these quick. At least a few of these pieces. Have you seen the reels where they just have the sound really accentuated of the scissors cutting and things tapping on the table? That must be like a new thing. Rather than having music or talking. I would think that some of those noises could kind of trigger people. All right, so you're on Tuesdays and Saturdays at 6 p.m. Pacific. So that would be 8 p.m. my time. I'll have to try to work that into my routine. Or at least catch replays. And these that I'm cutting out are all the stickers. And I don't know that I want to cut all of them out. I don't want to lose any of them. This is a little sticker that's got like little hash marks to put a date on. So I don't want to lose that. That might be important at some point. That's not very pretty. All right, and then I think these words and the numbers I can just wait on because they're pretty straight. All right, so this is all project 2. Let me get this extra stuff. Look at all of these extra pieces that are from this kit. Lots of potential there, and then we have this whole piece here work because we only needed an inch off of here, right? And then I conserved this from that first spread. So we have a lot of extra pieces. All right, so here's my pieces for project 2. Okay, so we are doing this piece. And this piece. And one of these. And that's going to go there. And that's going to get trimmed down probably to like 11 inches. I guess I'll trim that right now because these borders are not going to change. I'm going to take just a little bit off of this edge so that it's kind of similarly spaced. If I can get that straight. And that's pretty good. And then we'll take part off of this one. All right. So again, that's going there. That's going there. This is going to go here. Actually, it's going to be the littler one that goes there. I was looking at these borders. So it's the littler one that's going to go there. And we got this piece. We have a bow. We have a flower and that. We have this piece. We have what do we have? You can tell I'm not following the instructions right now. I'm just winging it. And then this piece looks like it goes there without a mat. And we're going to find Making Magic. and deck the halls. I think the pictures are good enough on here that you probably don't even need to read the instructions. You know, the wording part, because you can follow along with the visual. I'm pretty visual and tactile. Reading sometimes is too slow for me. Because when I read like every single letter. That'll go there. And then trim the tree is the next one. And like I said, these are sticker sheets. So those are going to go there. Okay, and then we have another tab piece. I think that's supposed to kind of look like a clipboard. I'm not sure. And then there should be a piece that says December. Oh, there is. It's little. It's just this little sticker here. All right, so that'll go here. And see, this is one where I might actually like more pictures because this page is only set up to have 2 pictures. And we've got all this other space that, yeah, there's flowers on here, and I need to color in some of the leaves with my alcohol blends. So I'll do that another day. And I will probably trim off some of that white border because I think the border is too much of a border for my liking. All right. All right, so there's that one. Placeholders, or yeah. So you can tell a photo will go here. So there's a mat in white, and then the photos are just a little bit smaller if you follow the instructions, and those will go there. All right, so I think that's a pretty cute layout too, but I might want to put like one more picture down there, maybe a piece of memorabilia or something here. But too, what doesn't come in these scrapbooking kits is if you want to use embellishments, if you want to use linen thread. So those are all things that you could work into the design that we did when we did the virtual album, which was that 3-day, 8 hours a day scrapbooking class, which I thought was really a good class. All right, so there's that one. Let me move this over and we will go one more page. Flip this over, and now we need this one. And it's calling for a bunch of these. It's calling for this page. And it's showing it with just the littlest bit of the white border down there. I'm not sure why that is. But for now we'll roll with it, I guess. All right, and then we've got a strip. A strip. A strip. Strip and a strip. And these I will probably space out more, kind of like the instructions show. I think they're a little more spaced out there. And then we have this piece. Oh, and these are way up here. Where's Sala? She was telling me before what I forgot. She keeps a good eye on things. All right, so that would kind of go there. This piece will go here. This will be a placeholder for the picture. We will have a banner, a flower that again, I will probably cut out that white border because it's too much white for my liking. We have another white flower. We have Deck the Halls. We have Home for the Holidays. I'm just cutting the edges off that sticker there. Home for the Holidays. We got some Fa La La. And we have another picture. Oh, and we have another strip. There we go. This will go under here. And then it looks like we have a striped piece as well. So that's this one. Well, we're running out of pieces, so that must mean we're almost done. All right, so this piece looks like it's supposed to come out from under this one. And that will get trimmed also. I'll trim that later. All right, so Deck the Halls goes there. This is kind of up here. These move up. Oh, I made a mess of all of these, didn't I? Kind of hard to get the idea what it's supposed to look like when I mess it up. All right. That'll kind of be close enough. You'll get it. And again, we're going to color in some of the leaves. It shows on here that some of those leaves are colored in. We'll do that. And then this is going to have another placeholder. That'll go there. That'll kind of go there. Fa La La. That's a nice grouping. All right, so that's kind of the very rough version of this one. And again, I could probably go ahead and trim that piece and then trim it here. So it's not hanging all over. All right. That's pretty close. All right, so we've got the photo, the red, the stripe, the 5 scallop pieces, another photo, the flag, the 2 flowers, Deck the Halls, Home for the Holidays, picture, and Fa La La. All right, so all I have to do left there is color some of that stuff in. And I will probably end up coloring in some of the flowers too, because I think just with the leaves, that doesn't thrill me there. All right, so here is the right page, and here is the left page. Hopefully you can see enough of those. Yeah, I think that's as good as I can get it probably. But I like how the pattern paper is, somebody was paying attention to details so that these stripes go into each other instead of just all going the same way. I like the chevron it produced. So there's the little page 1 and page 2 for spread number 2. So I like that one too. Let's do the last one. It shouldn't take us very long, right? And then I'll have to touch all these things again to put all of my adhesives on. All right, last page. So we have this piece. We have, let's see here. We have this piece, it looks like. That piece will be here. This banner will come here. This piece will come here. Looks like that's kind of like that. No, looks like that's like that. And then they'll put a number on there. We need the traditions. I'll go there. And then there's a red stripy piece too. Right here. That'll go there. I don't know who thinks of all of these layouts with all the different colors and elements, but they're pretty creative. All right, we need this piece. We need the shorter piece. It's going to go under, it looks like. There should be a couple of white pieces here. So it looks like it kind of goes like that. Got a couple of placeholders. Then we have this, and this, and this, and that, and I need joy. I wonder where joy is. I may have lost my joy. It's probably, oh, there it is. Found it. One little sticker still on the end. So that'll go there. And then we have this piece. It kind of covers up quite a bit. Maybe I should move that up a little bit. That can come down. And then I need this tab. It's gonna go there. And this itty bitty little ho 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 from a sticker sheet. Gotta find all the pieces, right? And that's gonna go there. So that's that layout. Oh, there's one more little piece. Oh, we're going to make a pocket for this one because this says pull on it. And there's a journaling piece, so that'll be a little pocket on there. So when we put in the sheet protector, we will be putting a slice in here so that this can be on top of the sheet protector and slide it in and out, so people obviously aren't taking the page out of that protector all the time. So I think we have everything. Joy, Mary, the flower, the tab, the ho ho ho, that flower, that. 2 pieces. I think we have everything there. So that went really fast. Of course, it will take a little bit more time when I start gluing everything down. But that's a cute layout, but with only 2 pictures. Those will really be the focal points. All right, so let's just shift this off to the side maybe. So I can bring in this last sheet. All right, so we have this piece that goes from the top to the bottom, if you like it that way. This little piece is going to come over here. Now, Stampin' Up! Gives us measurements for how far in things should go, or, you know, how far in from the margin, how far down from the top. I eyeball it. I don't think it needs to be that exact. Now, this little tab is going to come over here. That's a lot of flour for that. Best time of the year. I've got another sticker. There we go. That's going to come here. I guess that goes down to the bottom of there. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me scooch this up a little bit. All right, then we have a photo mat. I think, no, that's a big one, so that's got to go here. And that looks like it's going to have a little bigger framing. This is going to come here. Something like that. That goes here. One, two, three. Placeholder, placeholder, placeholder. Scrap. And that's everything. So I got the flower, this, the numbers. Again, I'm waiting to put numbers on. The journaling piece, the picture, 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 picture. And that's everything that goes on that page. So the only thing that I have left in the line of stickers are all of the numbers. And here is the number 25 again, that was extra from that sticker sheet. And that's everything. So we got that done, and we got 3 2-page spreads done in what, like an hour and a half, hour, 40 minutes? And that's just with me putzing around, not really super focused. So let's go ahead and we didn't use this, although some of these elements I would like to add on here. Like, it does show some splatter on here. So that'll go on there too. So let's just scooch this over a little bit and see if I can get this page kind of put back together a little bit. Something like that, right? Let's see. So here's the little pictures of those 2 pages. So that little one looks like that, and this one looks like that. Now I kind of like the idea of these pictures being a little topsy-turvy. And Stampin' Up! Does have flip-flaps. So if you had a bunch of pictures, more than just 3 that you wanted to showcase, you could do flip-flaps on these, or on, you know, one of them maybe. And then you can maximize how many pictures you can actually see, because then, again, like with this pocket, well, we'll put a slot in here. With the flip-flaps, we put a slot in there too. And then the flip-flaps, you wouldn't have to do a slot, I suppose, because you could stick it to the page protector. But if you wanted to conceal them behind here, you'll have a slit in it. But then you can add more pictures. So 6 scrapbook pages in, I guess it was an hour and 40-ish. Hour 45. Not too bad for somebody who's not a scrapbooker. All right, so let's pull these back. There's page 2. And then our 3rd layout. Woohoo! Fun. This one seems kind of different to me because of the amount of dark paper here with this paper. So I think what I may end up doing is seeing if I have more pieces of that green, if we didn't use it all. Here. And I may break this up and put some stripes on here somewhere just to make these 2 pages flow a little bit better. There's a little bit of secret C here, but not as much as what's on that facing page. So, thanks for hanging out with me tonight, ladies. And for not complaining that we're doing scrapbooking if you don't like scrapbooking, because I had nothing else planned. And tomorrow I'm going to try to use some of those scraps maybe, and this, and we'll do some cards with the leftover stuff from here. Yeah, I think behind this DSP will work good. And I'll split it, you know, so we can put some here. And maybe if I split it in half, we can have a narrow border here, and that'll kind of match the narrow border there. Move, you know, if I cut this in half, I can move that over to the other side of the page. And I think it'll just help balance it out a little bit. Because that's a lot of dark to me when there's no dark on this side. So we'll figure that out. We'll figure it out. And at some point I will post pictures on my Facebook page, and you can go there and hopefully give me a thumbs up as well. So this is all of our extra stuff from this kit. And this kit was $36 for all the stuff that you got. All the stickers, all the ephemera pieces, the instructions, all of the background pages, all of the DSP, the two-tone cardstock, and we still have all of this extra stuff. So I think that's pretty cool. Any parting comments, ladies? Any other suggestions? All right, well, with that, I am going to say good night. Happy crafting. Well, thank you for hanging out with me. And then I'll see you like in 22 hours or something. Something like that. I was just watching that last comment. So if you're heading over to Pam's, tell her I said hi, but I'm not going to join you tonight. I got to get some sleep because I have to use my time wisely to get ready for the craft fair on Saturday. So until next time, catch y'all later.